Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. This weekend, nothing. We have nothing this weekend. It's kind of great. I'll be honest with you. No pay-per-views this weekend. We will be doing, me and the Enforcer, we'll be doing some Unsolved Mysteries this Saturday. It's always a lot of fun. Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. That's a blast. Want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out with us, both during our Extreme Rules watch-along and the recap afterwards.
And special thanks to our awesome mods, moderated our chat. We got the absolute best mods. The absolute best.
Especially these days when it kind of doesn't matter what streaming platform you're on. There's the kids out there who are either trying to spam you with bots or saying rude things on YouTube. And so it's essential to have awesome mods. And boy, we really lucked out, man.
We've got the absolute best mods. They're on top of it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Quick program note as well. Tomorrow, we've got a bonus episode of Going in Raw going up. You can get that at patreon.com/Steve and Larson, $5 a month. If you listen to us in the audio realm and you like the bonus content, you want more Going in Raw, and you want the show ad-free, $5 a month at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. If you just want the show ad-free, no bonus content, for $3 a month, you can get that at goinginraw.supercast.tech. No, yes, that is correct. And then this Thursday, very exciting. It went up to a vote. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Macho Man Randy Savage versus RVD? Was that who it was?
Yeah, it was RVD.
Rob Van Dam. Stone Cold Steve Austin won. Numbers don't lie. Y'all are going to apply Going in Raw math to the rattlesnake over here at Gimmick Street. This should be a lot of fun. Numbers don't lie on Stone Cold Steve Austin this coming Thursday. You can vote for that right now. Apply the Going in Raw math on Stone Cold Steve Austin at patreon.com/Steve and Larson, $5 a month. And then you can watch us film the bonus episode, participate, engage with Steve and Larson. And also, if you're a Twitch sub, you have access to that during our live show. The link appears in the chat room. And if you're a YouTube channel member, all you got to do is hit join. You get access to all that bonus stuff as well.
Yes.
So that should be a really fun episode. What's your early prediction on the number for Stone Cold Steve Austin?
It's probably going to be somewhere around 8.
I am going to guess around 8.5. I think it's going to be 8.5, between 8.5 and 9. I think that he has got, with the exception of, I think he's gonna do pretty good. He's gonna do pretty good.
Well, 8's a pretty darn good score. We have not had a lot of 8s. Anything above an 8 is really, really good. Really
absolutely good. So let's talk about some wrestling news. Of course, a fairly interesting wrestling weekend with Extreme Rules going down yesterday. Some controversy there at the end. However, early in the night, we have the Raw Women's title on the line. Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte. Now it looks like one of those participants might be taking some time off from the WWE. What's going on, Larson?
Yeah, so Alexa Bliss took the loss to Charlotte Extreme Rules last night. And according to Wrestling Inc., seems like Bliss might be taking some time away from the ring. This is what Wrestling Inc. had to say. Quote, Alexa Bliss will reportedly be taking time off WWE television soon. It's not known if the Extreme Rules match was to write off Bliss off television, or if she will appear on Raw tonight. It is not known how long Bliss will be off of television, but Wrestling Inc. was told it would be, quote, a few months. You know, I thought they were having the ripping up of Lily to kind of take the feud to the next level. Maybe they still will, but it's entirely possible now that Lily has been torn to shreds by Charlotte. They're going to hit the reset on Alexa. They're going to keep her off TV for a little bit, bring her back, either going back to previous gimmicks, something different. Who knows? I know this kind of supernatural angle they took with Alexa hasn't necessarily been the most popular. But I thought, especially like the last 2 or 3 weeks, I felt like in terms of her performance, I think she's been doing really well. And I think they finally kind of found what this character was, because it seemed like for a while it was, all right, essentially it's like Bray Wyatt. That kind of seemed to be the idea at first, and it's kind of evolved into something else. I've never been terribly huge on the whole Lily aspect of it, but I thought, given based on what she was given, I thought from a performance aspect, she's done a really good job with it. So who knows what's going to happen? Who knows whether she's going to get a new gimmick or something? Guess we'll have to wait and see.
I thought the first sign of anything interesting from her over the past couple of months was simply her promo on Charlotte Flair this past last week, when she sort of broke it down in less supernatural, obscure terms, and just brought it back more to trying to nail Charlotte where it would hurt. It was more of a she came off as less of a weirdo and more of like a human being, and that just to me is more interesting. So yeah, hopefully when she comes back, it's less about dolls and more about being a character that you can understand their motivations and where they're coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So but that's good for her. It's always good to take some time off.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Seth Rollins, who I think is doing some career work these days.
Yes.
I think he's really nailing this King of Drip character who's, got a thing with Edge right now. I think it's really good stuff. Of course, he was the guest on the most recent episode of the Broken Skull Sessions. Talked about his match against Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell 2019. Of course, this is one match that after the finish to that match, anecdotally speaking, we saw a ton of people say, "Oh, I'm getting rid of the WWE network. No more WWE for me." That's what a lot of people said. Evidently, Seth Rollins seemed to be one of those people. He said this. These transcripts come to you via Fightful. My vision for what that match was going to be was a lot different than what we had to go out there and do. We went out there and did what we were told to do to the best of our ability. Obviously, as it was ongoing, I felt, you watch it back, it's booze piled upon booze, piled upon booze, and at the end of it, the reaction when the audience didn't get the result they wanted, that's a real tough pill to swallow. It sucks. It's a sucky feeling. You go back to it now, we talked about the Drip God character. That character doesn't exist without that match. That's really the catalyst for what happened later that year. That happened in October. By the time December and January roll around, I'm no longer burn it down Seth Rollins. I'm a totally different being. I put a positive spin on it now because I can look back a year and a half later. But at the time, I came through that curtain and I was ready to strangle Vince McMahon. I'm not kidding you. TJ Wilson was there to hold me back. I stared right into Vince's eyes. I looked at him. He looked at me. We didn't say a single word to each other, and he walked out. I sat down with Paul Heyman, who is creative director at Raw. I sat down with him, and we had a conversation. He Paul Heyman'd me, if you will. The next day, I went into Vince's office. I was much calmer, and I said, let's talk about this. We need to figure out what we're doing here because that can't happen again. It was civil, but it took me a night. I was ready to go. If somebody wasn't there making sure I was okay, my temper and the adrenaline. Seth Rollins obviously takes a lot of pride in what he does.
Yes.
He didn't take it well. He doesn't take failure very, very well. And who does? Who's diplomatic about failure? When his face run didn't go well, he finds people to blame. I'm sure he probably blames himself as much as anybody else.
He does talk about in this interview, one of the kind of the through lines for it is far too often, whether it's because like I'll use this as an example. When he came, there's numerous examples where they just dropped it. He or the Shield were dropped into a situation with no direction, and they have to figure things out. He talked about when he came back from his knee injury. And he just showed up, and there was no direction for him as far as his character. And he showed up, he got a massive babyface pop, and he's like, okay, babyface run happening, right? No. And he says the first time he felt like he really had a character is when he broke up with the Shield, when the Shield broke up. And he says, okay, I get this. Like in his entire career, I get who this character is. And it seems like it's constant. And he's very diplomatic in how he talks about it, but you can tell the kind of scattershot nature of creative and WB bothers him to a degree.
Yeah.
Because he feels like it's the idea I got. I didn't finish the whole interview. I got maybe 2/3 of the way through it. It feels like far too often he's going out there without direction.
Yeah.
And if you're a performer, I don't care what medium you're performing in, if you're going out there without direction, it's hard to put forth consistently genuine performances if you don't know where you're going. And it
There's
seems like
a whole stretch of time when Drew McIntyre would go out there and basically be the greeter for Raw.
Yeah.
And it's clear. You can go back. I've said this a million times by now. You can go and listen to any Bruce Pritchard podcast, and the level of simplicity that they employ at the top of creative is not conducive to a weekly dramatic program where you need direction and storyline twists and turns. And when they just, we just put him out there because, what do I always say? He's an attraction. And you got the good, to them, it's just you got a good guy and you got a bad guy, and that's sort of where it is.
That's your story. There's good guy and bad guy, and then there's story. That's the story. That's
the story.
Usually that's
and it's like, no, that's just characters. And so like you get stuff like last night where they have this great dramatic moment where Finn Balor's demon character comes alive and is on the precipice of winning. And instead of a story beat that is motivated by character, we talked about this in the pre-show, and just one idea that I threw out there was, what if one of the Usos took the hit for Roman and absorbed that coup de grace, and maybe that was all the demon had in him, that one sequence, and that was it. And then he's back to being a man and Roman spears him. Now, that might not be the most compelling story in the world, but it's motivated by character. And I feel like that kind of thing would have gone over better than what we got, which was a broken turnbuckle, which just is such a cop-out, and it's lazy. And it feels like that's what Seth is talking about here. It's like there's no direction. You just go out there and do, apparently. And that kind of thing is frustrating because as fans, you just want to think that there is some sort of plan, that there's direction, that they give a shit about the stories they're telling. And there's the disconnect there because creative doesn't think about that stuff. WWE's creative doesn't think about, well, let's tell a compelling story. We have all these characters. Let's just have them go out there and then they just figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
But like it's a weird dichotomy where they also seem to be like stifled by creative because they don't have freedom. They have constraints that just don't have much direction to them. It's a weird situation.
It is a weird situation because it seems like in almost equal measure, there's, as you mentioned, those constraints where Vince will say, "Oh, I know who you are," like you told Ambrose when Ambrose was trying to talk to him about creative.
You have a crazy hat.
Wasn't working.
Yeah,
it seems to be at times that, but also at times just go out there. And then you have to kind of just figure it out on your own. Because he mentioned, Seth also mentioned that the Shield apparently was supposed to break up in the lead up to WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
And then there was supposed to be a match between Roman and Dean. And he was kind of on the outside. He says, well, maybe I was going to be the special guest ref. Who knows? But they're like, hey, we're getting some good babyface momentum here. Let's see where this goes. There's a lot of merch money you're leaving on the table, not giving us this babyface run. And, of course, it ended up lasting, another 4 months or something like that before they eventually broke him up. But it's a good interview. I mean, like, as far as the Hell in the Cell thing, I understand why people were upset about it at the time. I know we kind of defended it because it's like, okay, like the way it was, we interpreted was the ref was trying to stop basically a murder from happening. And yes, I know it's a wrestling match. And yes, I know it's a wrestling match that's no disqualification. At the same time, these are people, these are performers, and yes, you walk into Hell in a Cell, but you're also supposed to walk out.
Yeah, you could walk out changed, but the point is you walk out.
You walk out.
And that was a murder that was about to take place, and
so
the ref
if the ref stops the murder, then I understand that.
Now, I get philosophically, if you don't, if you're like, okay, it's Hell in a Cell, they should concoct a story where there's a finish, and it shouldn't be a cop-out finish, because they did the same thing with, like, Braun and Roman, and Brock comes in, and that was a no contest. People shit all over that.
Yeah.
And And so that's infamously was, though, so like we got a ton of crap from people in our YouTube comments at the time. But I don't know. I felt you and I were on the same page with that. It's a horror movie thing, and the ref was trying to stop a murder from actually happening. But the Fiend obviously wasn't any old person.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the problem is that if they're not going to have the Fiend win that match, then don't book that match in Hell in a Cell.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
They book themselves into this corner and then have to concoct some way to get out of the corner they've written themselves into, and that's the problem.
And they don't know how to do that.
And they don't know how to do that.
Yeah. So interesting stuff. I'm definitely going to check this out later on today.
It's good. Yeah, Seth is a good interview.
Yeah, it is. He is an interesting character. You know, he obviously takes great pride in what he does, and he wants to succeed at the top at the very top. And I do think he's doing just absolutely amazing work these days. And he seems to have tempered down the social media stuff that used to, you know, make it look like the guy is just sort of telling the company, like, it's good to be proud about where you work. But it's funny because here he has no problem, you know, saying, hey, this was a failure on the part of creative.
Yeah.
And at the same time, at the time he's on social media, oh, it's so difficult to write 5 hours of TV. And, you know, you try it and you try to be backstage.
Maybe that was just how at the time he was expressing his frustration with creative. And it's like, okay, I don't feel like I could, through social media, vent towards WWE itself. And it's not fair to those who are asking him questions. Yeah, for him to vent to them or unload on them. I mean, I'm just trying to find some reasoning behind it.
I mean, look, I absolutely get it. In WWE, the spotlight on you is so bright, and as in any fandom where there's passionate fans, along with that comes some level of toxicity. That unfortunately, even if the fans that are that toxic are vastly outnumbered by the fans who just want to enjoy the product, they have the loudest voices, you know, and the lines that might cut the most. And so I imagine these wrestlers are exposed to that element a lot more than they are the positivity. Yeah. And so I'm not surprised that he would have a line where he'd be like, look, man, you know, that's got to be difficult terrain to tread, you know?
Definitely.
So I get it.
Definitely. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it could be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular phone or video sessions. They've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, DoorDash. You know, Steve, I found myself ordering with DoorDash a lot recently, like more than twice a month, and sometimes it felt like I was paying just as much in delivery fees as I was for the actual meals. But then I signed up for Dash Pass, and now I'm saving money on the food I'm already eating.
I was once there with you, friendo. But now that I got Dash Pass, I get unlimited $0 delivery fees from thousands of restaurants, grocery stores, and convenience stores, saving me about $4 to $5 on each order I place. Dash Pass pretty much pays for itself if I order like twice a month.
And with 18,000 restaurants eligible for Dash Pass, hey, maybe we'll find a new favorite place to eat. But Dash Pass is about more than good eats. You can get flowers, pet supplies, even groceries delivered directly to your door. So try a free month of Dash Pass now and watch those savings add up.
So if you're ready to save money on your DoorDash orders, DoorDash is offering a free month for Dash Pass right now. Stop spending money on delivery fees. Try Dash Pass from DoorDash today for free.
When you've got 0 delivery fees, you're free to get more. Because you can. Start your free month today.
Royal Rumble, probably our favorite pay-per-view
easily.
in the WWE on any given year.
Easily.
Now has an official date and place.
Mm-hmm.
It's on a Saturday again, or it's on a Saturday. I think for the first time they've been doing Saturday pay-per-views now, here and there.
Yeah, SummerSlam was on a Saturday. Now this is on a Saturday.
Yeah, January 29th, 2022, at America Center in St. Louis.
The Dome at America Center. I believe that's where the St. Louis Rams used to play before they moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah. Largest venue to host the event in its illustrious 30-plus year history.
Yeah, so I guess it's larger than it was at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio in 97? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 97, I believe.
That makes sense.
And they had it in, did they have it in Houston?
Planet Houston?
Phoenix. Where'd they have it the year Drew won it? It was at a
I
stadium.
do not know.
I think it was in Phoenix at the Diamondback Stadium. Let me double check on that. I've been 20.
Larger and larger venues for the bigger pay-per-views, man. I like
Chase
that.
Field. Chase Field in Phoenix. So it was at the Alamo Dome in 2017 and then in 97.
All right.
Interesting.
I think that's what WWE, I think, going forward is really going to try to distinguish themselves from AEW, not with coherent stories, but with spectacle.
Yep.
With large.
Yeah.
with
if you
big.
can't make it cohesive and interesting, just make it large.
Just make it big. You know, there's something to be said for spectacle. If you can bring that, it'd be so nice if just get the stories right too.
I know.
You know, get the stories right.
You know, if you take the spectacle and you put it with stories and interesting characters,
oh man,
then you really got something.
Wouldn't that be great?
It'd be outstanding. Outstanding. So we got a Raw tonight. So far, there's only been one segment announced. It was announced last night during Extreme Rules. Big E set to kick off Raw with WWE Championship defense against Bobby Lashley.
Any chance we're going to see, as a couple of people in chat noted earlier during our pre-show here on Twitch, any chance we're going to see Bill Goldberg show up?
I suppose
they
got
to start setting up Crown Royal. I wonder if they're going to start setting up the King of the Ring and the Queen's Cup, Queen's Crown.
Think so. You'd think so. They'd have to start, but I wonder if they're gonna wait till after the draft.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they're already pushing that last night. Yeah, and on SmackDown.
Because that starts on Friday. So
yeah,
and that gives them about 3 weeks or so, 2.5, 3 weeks before Crown Royal.
So you're going to be gone for first night of the draft.
Yeah.
Me and the Enforcer are going to be holding it down on Friday.
Yeah.
Talking about the draft.
The draft.
It's an attraction.
Yeah.
Randomly breaking up popular teams.
Yeah.
And then one guy. There's going to be. I wonder what weird selections they're going to make, because they're going to be doing that like Friday morning.
Oh yeah. I wonder if they're gonna have the list of the draft pool and the order of the draft like they did a couple of years back.
Could be. Yeah.
That was still the most hilarious thing.
That was so damn funny.
This is the list. This is the
amazing.
order.
Yeah, that was amazing that they would do that, and then they had to change it the next day.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Anyway,
so we're like 5 draftees deep, and we're like, wait a second. Somebody on Twitter noted this is just a. Oh, that was good. Anyways, we have a Twitter thread open right now for some questions. Let's see who is asking.
I'm just trying to do something. Says Steve, you are Raw. Larson, you are SmackDown. What are your top 3 draft picks? Also, Sheamus being cheeky last night goated him for sure. Yeah, when he was up there doing the Jeff Hardy dance.
Yeah, that was pretty funny stuff.
Great.
My favorite part about that was you being infuriated with him because he was your pick. He was like your entire predictions.
Yeah,
was riding on him.
Yeah.
And you were like, get down from there.
Yeah, stop goofing off, Sheamus. Be serious.
Top 3 draft picks. So, I'm Raw, you're SmackDown. I have a coin here.
All right. Well, I mean, Raw always drafts first. Raw drafts first. They always do. Because they always
do?
Yeah, they get the 3 picks for every 2 of SmackDowns. They always draft first.
All right.
Well, guess what?
They're taking Roman Reigns.
The bloodline is coming to Raw.
All right, well, I'll take the New Day to SmackDown.
Because do I get the entire faction? The
If
bloodline?
you draft them, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I got Roman and the Usos. All right.
I'll take the New Day then.
All right. My number 2 pick will be the man, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I guess I'll take Charlotte then.
They'll just do the thing backstage where they'll just hand the titles to each other.
We're literally just like swapping Raw for SmackDown at this point.
My number 3 pick from NXT 2.0, Braun Breaker.
Wow, reach. That's a reach. I'll take the almighty Bobby Lashley.
Dang it. Why did I take Braun Breaker? What's my problem? All right. Well, there you go. There's your first 3 draft picks.
First 3 picks. Also, I'm just trying to do something. One more question. Is it time to do away the demon aspect of Finn? The paint can stay because selling action figures, but it didn't need to be the mystical part. This is like the 3rd or 4th different origin story for the demon. I've never been huge on the demon aspect of Finn's whole presentation. I don't miss it when he doesn't do it. When he does it, I kind of shrug. If he never did it again, I'd be totally fine with it.
The problem, man, is it's the same thing with the Fiend. It's WWE. It's so I think it's possible to write a character who's supposed to be so overpowered nobody could beat him and keep him away from the title, because you could do stories. Stories exist.
Definitely.
But WWE doesn't really think of it that way. They're like, oh, well, did they just paint that it's just writing themselves into a corner? Oh, now we have to find clever and stupid ways that this person loses because they inevitably have to go to the title scene. No, I do think you need, look, this is what I would suggest. WWE Creative needs to go and watch the latest episode of Fantasy Booking Warfare over at Parts Fun Known. We lost spectacularly to Lori because he had a killer idea for Finn Balor beating The Undertaker.
His story was awesome. Awesome.
It was great. And so I do think that Finn needs some sort of Bullet Club type thing around him. And you can rebook him that way. And I think he can maybe retain aesthetic elements of the Fiend, not the big headdress, but some of, like, you know, the face paint's kind of cool. You can add elements like he used to be, because he used to do the face paint stuff without the demon stuff back before he was in WWE, before he was in NXT. Mm-hmm. So you can have elements of the theatrics of that. You know, maybe not necessary, but I think it looks cool, and I think theatrics are neat. But in terms of him having supernatural powers, he can be done with that by now. Yeah. You could be done with that. Yeah. I understand the idea to sell merch, though, because that stuff does sell. So
yeah. Blake Elizondo, what do you think WWE's reaction to the backlash last night? Will the negative reaction somehow land on Finn or the Demon? I doubt they really care.
Will it land on Finn or the Demon? No. No, because people know it's not his fault.
Yeah.
WWE's reaction to it, I don't know. Sometimes they're so, like, they act with such resentment towards negative fan reaction that they'll, like, make a joke of it or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Jason Lewis says, not sure if you guys heard, but Craig ended his streams and 15 years of content creation on Friday after getting a job offer he couldn't turn down. I'm assuming he means Craig from formerly of Game Attack?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
did you know that?
I did not know that either, no.
Well, all the best to Craig. Awesome guy.
Yeah, really good guy.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. Good for him. You know, at a certain point, sometimes this is like the kind of thing where, you know, it's difficult to put down, but if you have a good offer, then go have at it, man.
Exactly.
New chapter in his life. That's
exactly.
Awesome. Good
yeah,
for him.
We had an opportunity to spend a good amount of time with him, talk to him when he went to SummerSlam. Was it 2016?
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Awesome. Twinewinder, what do you think about Zack Sabre Jr.'s G1 run? Why is it leading to Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson at Wrestle Kingdom? Zack Sabre Jr. is awesome. He is great.
Yeah.
I hope he has a really good G1 run. I hope he makes it to the finals. Hell, if he won, I wouldn't be disappointed.
If he won the whole thing, I'd be super
awesome.
happy about that.
Have
time.
Have a Zack
It's time
Sabre
for him,
Jr. Taichi final for the G1, please, because they're great.
Absolutely.
Dangerous Techers are outstanding. Huge fan of Zack Sabre Jr.'s work. If we get him versus Bryan Danielson at any point, I would be very happy about that.
I kind of feel like it's not going to happen at this year's Wrestle Kingdom, but I guess it's or next year's Wrestle Kingdom, I should say.
Yeah,
I guess it's a possibility. Yeah, if he doesn't win the G1, like if he doesn't actually win the final and move on to Wrestle Kingdom for the match, I guess it wouldn't shock me if Brian. I mean, they're doing 3 nights. Mm-hmm. Have Bryan Danielson show up. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Look, man, you got to get as much as you can in now because tomorrow might not happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Knee Kyle Full Gear is set to take place November 13th. It was confirmed at Target Center in Minneapolis. With that in mind, choose a match you would like to see on the pay-per-view, whether it's a title, non-title, in the following categories: a men's singles match, a women's singles match, a tag team match, but we cannot use the same wrestlers.
Okay, men's singles match. You get to go first. Since
I
went
do.
First when I was Raw.
Men's singles match, Full Gear. I'm gonna say CM Punk versus MJF.
Oh, I was gonna say CM Punk versus Kenta. I will say. With Daniel Bryan sort of, would it be too much of a risk to do at Full Gear #1 contender match Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page?
Oof.
Is that courting disaster?
No, I don't think so.
I think that would be a killer match. Bryan Danielson works heel.
It'd be pretty cool.
I mean, he's come in with an edge.
Yeah, he has.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has.
That could be good.
Women's singles match. You can go first, since I went first with the
women's
men's match.
Singles match.
It could be for the title or not, so don't think it has to be outside the title picture.
I would go with. I would just go ahead and do it. Jade Cargill versus Britt Baker.
Oh, okay.
For the title.
Okay. Trying to think here. Maybe they'll introduce the TBS championship, the secondary women's title.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And the final can be Ruby Soho versus Nyla Rose.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. Tag team match.
Oh, give me Lucha Brothers versus Santana and Ortiz for those titles.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'll go with FTR versus CM Punk and Bryan Danielson.
There you go. Good. Bryan Danielson pulling double duty.
Honestly, I my brain is so scrambled today. My answers were terrible.
I did not want to wake up today. Did not. It was tough getting out of bed. This is what happened. So I'm laying in bed. I'm kind of half asleep, half awake. And I'm like, am I dreaming of this noise happening, or is it like something going on outside? And I realized, my alarm's going off, but the volume was set really low.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's like, I got to get up. Ugh.
Sorry, those are terrible answers. NJWP. How would you make Big E's WWE Championship run memorable, unlike how they treated Kofi's run?
He needs a signature win.
He needs signature wins. He needs to beat the top names. He needs to beat Big E. He needs to beat Goldberg. He needs to beat Randy Orton. Clean. People need to be afraid to step in the ring with Big E. That is memorable.
He should beat Roman at Survivor Series. He could be overbooked.
He should. Yeah.
But he needs to win
should.
That.
He absolutely should.
Nick, my hero, says WWE goes to Crown Jewel, and on the way back, it's stuck at the airport again with most of the SmackDown and Raw superstars unavailable. Who do you pull from NXT 2.0 to book on the next night's SmackDown, and what is the main event? Braun Breaker against who?
Breaker.
Against...
Man. So it's got to be somebody who's like left behind. So who's maybe not likely to be at Crown Jewel? Like maybe
Kevin Owens?
Kevin Owens. Braun Breaker beats Kevin Steen. That's what they got to do in the main event on SmackDown. Yeah, that happens. You also book Von Wagner versus Happy Corbin.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
And the Creed brothers versus Ray and Dom.
Oh, gosh. And that's finally it. That's when the Mysterios finally split up.
We couldn't even beat the Creed brothers?
Yep.
They only have one match. Same thing they do every week.
White Brownie. Obviously, we don't know the brackets for King and Queen of the Ring yet, but as of right now, who would you guys say could be the favorite to win it?
Favorite to win. Liv Morgan is my favorite to win the
that makes
Queen.
all the sense in the world.
Queen's Cup. Queen's Crown, whatever it is.
Yeah, Queen's Crown.
For the King of the Ring, it'd be Woods in the finals, but Woods wouldn't win the first year.
No,
and you'd think that would mean he'd win the second year, but they're not going to do it next year. So it just doesn't
They're going to take
matter.
another 24 months or 26 months, however long it's been since they've done it.
So it'd be
Apollo Crews.
Yes, that's the best answer. That's the best answer. Apollo Crews definitely is the best answer. Will F., what do you think the state of NXT would be if the pandemic never happened? Would Vince have was NXT 2.0 inevitable?
No, because if pandemic hadn't happened, who knows if Raw especially would have been hit with that massive ratings drop, you know, where they were down to like 1.5, 1.4 million viewers for some shows. Because I think in the end, this is just speculation on my part. It all comes back to ratings. Vince thinks people aren't watching wrestling because there aren't attractions anymore because they're all indie guys. Mm-hmm. Where the problem actually is that there's not interesting stories, and that's why people don't watch. Mm-hmm. The caliber of in-ring wrestler in WWE has never been better across the board. The in-ring talent has never been better than it is right now. And I think we said this countless times. There's probably at least a dozen people that could be massive, breakout, mainstream stars on the roster now. WWE just doesn't know how to, like they used to, take people who are popular in the wrestling sphere and make them popular in terms of, you know, pop culture. They just don't know how to do that anymore. They just don't. Because creative's not good. Because there's only, you know, 2 million people who watch the show on a weekly basis.
I think everybody got hit with pandemic, and I think if anything, pandemic might have just like extended NXT's life a little bit longer. I kind of feel like NXT's life or death was based exclusively off of AEW's growth, and I think AEW's growth was stifled because of pandemic. Like you would have probably seen CM Punk show up earlier. Oh, yeah. And so I do think, I mean, you know, maybe the fact that Danielson, I don't know, and Cole's contract came up a little bit later. NXT might have suffered a quicker death if it wasn't for pandemic, because I think AEW would have just shot through the roof a lot sooner. So I kind of feel like it was inevitable, you know. Mm-hmm. We were just raided by Alex, Queen of the Ring.
So
What's
much,
up?
Alex.
Thank you very much for the raid. Appreciate that. Everybody go follow at her Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Queen of the Ring. She's also on the YouTubes. Let's see.
Joshua Culver, can you explain why the Suzuki incident is a big deal and why people love the theme song? I don't watch New Japan, so I listened to the song. It didn't sound all that good to me. It doesn't really fit Suzuki to me. Well, agree to disagree, Joshua. It is. See, what they're using now is a different version that he used for quite a long time. It's like a re-recorded version of it. I personally prefer the previous version. The new version's great too. And I know in a sense it doesn't sound like it should be Suzuki's theme, but I believe he had the singer write that song for him. Like, it's about him.
It's a very dramatic
It's
song.
very dramatic. It's an anthem is what it is.
Yeah. It's connected to him, and the song is connected to the fans. And look, you can look at any song in a vacuum and be like, oh, it's a good song or a bad song. But like, number one, it's an epic song connected to the man, and you have to understand the history to know what you're talking about. So it's a big, big deal to the Suzuki community out there that this was, they were not allowed to express themselves in their communal way by singing Kaze ni Nare.
That is one of the most like, you get goosebumps when you're in an arena and you get to sing Kaze ni Nare there to watch Suzuki wrestle. The one time I got to do it, goosebumps. Thinking about it right now, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
You have to understand the context of a thing.
Yeah.
Nuno says, Elias Watch 2021. Where is Elias? He's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Gareth, what's the one essential snack you got to get at live events? Hot dog, nachos, popcorn, something else? I scored a box of free donuts for the mods at SummerSlam. Nice.
Oh, wow. That's so cool, Gareth. You're awesome.
I don't know what really tops free donuts.
Nothing. That's what tops it. Nothing.
You know, usually when I'm going to live events, like, the cost of food there is usually ridiculous. That being said, if I have to get anything, it's going to be chicken tenders. Although now, probably not, because my body seemingly has rejected chicken.
My goodness gracious. I've been experimenting now that as cheer dad, I have to attend these godforsaken football games and bake in the hot sun every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
This Saturday, Lacey and I were protected a little bit because we were working the merch tent where there was like hardly any actual merch available. And so like we didn't really do anything. But we get up really early to get Bama ready. Then we go over there. So I don't have time for my normal breakfast routine. And so last week we got some high school stadium nachos, which is just that orange goo, the radioactive orange goo
but it tastes so good.
On some half stale nacho chips. Not stale enough to really like put me off, but that they're not all that fresh.
Yeah.
So that was an option. I had that with some peanut M&Ms first week. Week 2, this past weekend, Lacey was like, hey, go get me like a breakfast sandwich or breakfast burrito or something. I'm like, really? You want to try the breakfast sandwich? She's like, yeah, just go do it.
Oh, they had them at the game?
They had breakfast sandwiches there.
Wow.
And so, but I'm pretty sure they were just like the microwavable Jimmy Dean ones.
Oh, all right.
So, they were well microwaved though. Like they weren't poorly microwaved. So like one half of it is like hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't that there was all
Or
consistent.
one half is like, no, it's like the center of the sun hot, and the other half is still frozen. Yeah.
Frozen.
Yeah.
So like we got those, they were good, they were fine. It tastes like kind of nothing.
Yeah.
And
Well, sometimes there's always a time and place for that.
So I feel like so far I have not discovered prime high school football.
Let me ask you this.
Food.
Now let me ask you this. Now, I don't remember what this question is, but the one snack. Is there any place you could stop between home and where the game's at, where you could procure yourself a breakfast if you wanted to?
But the idea is, I want to know what's there. I'm so like next weekend at 9:00 in the morning, they do. I'm gonna get, and also burgers. I'm gonna get a breakfast burger, which is just a cheeseburger in the morning. There's nothing different to it. Like I could say, hey, can I get a breakfast sandwich and a burger and then throw the egg on that? But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get a burger and see how because they're just dudes out there, barbecuing the burgers. They seem like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I do regret this though. One of the sign up options for this volunteer stuff when you got a kid in cheer or football is the PA guy is the announcer.
Yeah. How come you never did
and
that?
I really regret not doing it because I would have brought in Hey, folks, we got ourselves guest announcer Stone Cold Steve Austin. You remember him from the WWF? Here he is.
Hey, what's going on, you mini-mass son of a bitch?
Yeah.
Look at all these dumb bastards down there playing the foosball. Touchdown. What?
I would bring in a variety of guest
Yeah.
PA announcers.
Characters. Yes.
Oh, look at this. It's the Queen of England. Hello.
Oh, gosh.
Ooh, this is lovely American football. It'd be that. But instead, they got these mumbly mumblers up there. Oh, it looks like we had a tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as I heard these Poindexters up there, doing a shitty job at commentating, I regretted not putting in for that. Everybody be asking afterwards, oh, man, bring that guy back with his
that
awesome
remains to be
characters.
seen. Lord Ziffer, would you guys send Balor to Raw in the draft? He deserves to be in the main event scene, eventually be world champion again, but that is clearly not happening with him on SmackDown.
Wouldn't happen to him on Raw without a rebrand.
Yep.
But would I send him to Raw? Sure. Well, I don't know. No. You do Balor Nakamura.
Yeah.
That's what you do next. You do Balor Nakamura next. That'd be good. Let them reference the, history and stuff. Do they have a history? Did they ever? They never really crossed paths in New Japan, I don't think.
No, they didn't. But they had one match at NXT when Balor was on his way out.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That's the history you can reference.
I mean, they both made it big in New Japan, so you could say that, but they're not gonna.
Poof asks, will you guys be doing a mock draft? Not at this moment, no. Steve is tired of being defeated, shellacked by Larson in our mock drafts. He owes me 2 pizzas. He threw in the towel this time, so.
That's fair. Nothing you said is a lie. I wouldn't mind doing like a predictions draft.
Yeah,
where you, me,
like
the
that.
enforcer, like predict what's going to happen. But we got to get it going because it's happening.
I know.
Friday.
I had the idea of like, let's just not do Raw and SmackDown. Let's do Raw, SmackDown. This is back when before NXT 2.0 in AEW. You, me, and the enforcer. We do like a more all-encompassing thing. But that sounds like a lot of work. So,
Yeah. Muted Mayday says the crowd. Why is this guy only doing wrestler impressions? No, I do a variety of them. Do the Queen of England. Just throw me a name and I'll do it. Hey, look, guest announcer, Ghost of Elvis Presley. Hey, man.
Let's hear your Rich Little impression.
He didn't have like Rich Little doing other impressions. That's all he did. He just did other impressions.
That's what I was trying to get you.
Like a Frank Sinatra? Yeah, I could do like a Rich Little doing Frank Sinatra. Sure. No, I can't really do that. I don't know how to,
There you go. I stumped you.
Yeah, you got me. You got me, brother. Okay, here's my Rich Little doing Dean Martin.
Hey, you mealy-mouthed son of a bitch.
Cold. It's just Stone Cold.
Why ain't you using your running game, you dumb bastard?
There you go.
Stop yelling at those little kids.
Provide some commentary on the play calling.
Somebody give that dumbass coach a stunner. Stop yelling at those kids. That's what I'd be doing on PA. I'd be like, hey, coach, stop yelling at those kids. First down. Hey, Peter Falk. Hey, we got guest announcer Peter Falk. Hey, how's it going? It'd be the worst.
Yeah, if that's for Peter Falk, the crowd's in for a long day.
All right, that's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.